Welcome to a journey that will transform not just your bank account, but your entire life. This is not just another book about money. This is about something far more valuable, your freedom. Right now, you might be living paycheck to paycheck. You might feel trapped by bills, overwhelmed by debt, or anxious about your future. Perhaps you dream of a life where money does not control your decisions, where you can say yes to opportunities without checking your balance first, where you can sleep peacefully, knowing you're prepared for whatever comes. That life is possible, and it begins with a single powerful decision: to save. Saving is not about deprivation. It's not about living a smaller life. Saving is the foundation of every dream you have ever had. Want to start a business? You need savings. Want to travel the world? You need savings. Want to retire comfortably, help your children, or simply stop worrying about money? It all starts with saving. Think of saving as building a bridge from where you are now to where you want to be. Every dollar you save is another plank in that bridge. Every month you stay consistent makes that bridge stronger. And one day, you'll walk across that bridge into a life of true financial independence. Mindset shift. Seeing saving not as sacrifice, but empowerment. Most people see saving as giving something up. They think about all the things they can't buy, the experiences they must delay, the pleasures they must deny themselves. This is exactly backwards. Saving is not about what you give up, it's about what you gain. When you save, you gain options, you gain security, you gain the power to say no to things that do not serve you, and yes to things that do. Imagine waking up tomorrow and losing your job. If you have no savings, that's a crisis. You panic, you scramble, you take the first job you can find, even if it pays less or makes you miserable. But if you have 6 months of expenses saved, losing your job is not a crisis, it's an opportunity. You can take your time finding the right position. You can negotiate from a position of strength. You might even use that time to start the business you've always dreamed about. That's the power of saving. It transforms you from someone who reacts to life into someone who creates their life. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, you're not sacrificing, you're investing in your future self. You're buying freedom, $1 at a time. Your journey, what listeners will gain from this audiobook. Over the next 2 hours, you're going to learn a complete system for building wealth through saving. This is not theory, this is not complicated financial jargon. This is a practical, proven approach that anyone can follow regardless of how much money they make right now. You'll learn how to shift your mindset from scarcity to abundance. You'll discover the simple habit that wealthy people use to build their fortunes. You'll master the art of controlling your expenses without feeling deprived. You'll create multiple streams of savings that protect and grow your wealth. Most importantly, you'll learn how to make saving automatic, natural, and even enjoyable. You'll become the kind of person who saves without thinking about it, who builds wealth as naturally as breathing. By the end of this audiobook, you will have a clear plan. You will know exactly what to do today, this week, this month, and this year to build the financial freedom you deserve. But here's what matters most. You'll believe it's possible. You'll see that financial independence is not reserved for the lucky or the wealthy. It's available to anyone willing to make consistent, disciplined choices. Your journey to freedom begins now. Let's take the first step together. Chapter 1: The Wealth Mindset. Thoughts shape finances. How beliefs influence money habits. Everything you have in your life right now, including your financial situation, began as a thought. Your bank account is a perfect reflection of your beliefs about money. If you believe money is hard to come by, you will find it hard to come by. If you believe you are bad with money, you will be bad with money. If you believe saving is impossible on your income, it will be impossible. But here's the good news. If your thoughts created your current situation, new thoughts can create a new situation. Think about someone you know who always seems to have money. They may not make more than you, but somehow they always have savings. They never seem stressed about bills. They take vacations, handle emergencies, and still have money left over. What's their secret? It's not luck. It's not a higher salary. It's their mindset. People with a wealth mindset see money differently. They see it as a tool, not a master. They see saving as normal, not heroic. They see abundance everywhere, not scarcity. Let me give you an example. Two people both get a $50 bonus at work. The first person thinks, "Great, I can finally buy those shoes I've been wanting." The second person thinks, "Great, I can add this to my freedom fund." Same situation, different thoughts, completely different outcomes. The first person gets temporary pleasure from new shoes. The second person gets one step closer to permanent freedom. Over a lifetime, these small differences in thinking create massive differences in wealth. Your thoughts about money were programmed into you, mostly before you were 10 years old. You learned them from your parents, your community, your experiences. If you grew up hearing money doesn't grow on trees or we can't afford that, those beliefs are still running in the background of your mind, controlling your financial decisions. But you can reprogram your mind. You can choose new beliefs. And when you do, your financial reality will change. Start by noticing your thoughts about money. When you think about saving, what comes up? Anxiety? Resentment? Impossibility? Just notice it. Don't judge it. Just become aware. Then consciously choose a new thought. Instead of, "I can't afford to save," try, "I'm learning to save more each month." Instead of, "I'll never be wealthy," try, "I'm building wealth $1 at a time." Your mind is incredibly powerful. It will work tirelessly to prove whatever you believe, so choose beliefs that serve you. Vision of freedom. Creating a clear picture of your financial future. You can't hit a target you can't see. If you want to build wealth, you need to know what you're building it for. Most people have vague financial goals. They want to be comfortable or not worry about money. But vague goals create vague results. If you want extraordinary results, you need crystal clear vision. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine your life 5 years from now if you master the art of saving. What does your life look like? Maybe you wake up in a home you own with no mortgage payment hanging over your head. You check your bank account and see 6 months of expenses sitting there, giving you complete peace of mind. You have a retirement account that's growing steadily. You have a freedom fund that lets you take opportunities when they arise. How does that feel? What does that freedom give you? Maybe it means you can leave a job you hate. Maybe it means you can start a business. Maybe it means you can help your parents, support your children's education, or finally take that trip you've been dreaming about. Get specific. What does financial freedom actually look like for you? Not for your neighbor, not for some influencer on social media, but for you. Write it down. Describe it in detail. How much money do you have saved? What does your daily life look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What opportunities are available to you that aren't available now? This is your North Star. When saving feels hard, when you're tempted to spend, when you wonder if it's worth it, you'll come back to this vision. You'll remember why you're doing this. Your vision should excite you. It should pull you forward. It should make the sacrifices feel small compared to the reward. One of the most powerful things you can do is look at your vision every single day. Put it on your phone. Write it in a journal. Record yourself describing it and listen to it in the morning. The more real your vision becomes in your mind, the more your actions will align with it. Your brain can't tell the difference between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you consistently visualize your financially free future, your brain starts finding ways to make it real. This is not wishful thinking. This is how high achievers in every field operate. Athletes visualize perfect performance. Entrepreneurs visualize successful businesses. And wealthy people visualize financial freedom. You're not just saving money. You're building a specific, beautiful future. Keep that future clear in your mind, and the path to get there will become clear too. Action step. Write down your freedom goal. Right now, before you continue, take out your phone or a piece of paper. Write down your freedom goal. Complete this sentence. I am building financial freedom so that I can... Be specific. Be honest. Make it personal. Maybe your answer is, I am building financial freedom so that I can quit my job and start a bakery. Or, I'm building financial freedom so that I can retire at 55 and travel. Or, I am building financial freedom so that I never have to tell my kids we can't afford something they need. Whatever your answer is, write it down. This is your why. This is what will keep you going when saving gets difficult. Put this somewhere you'll see it every day. Make it your phone wallpaper. Tape it to your bathroom mirror. Put it on your refrigerator. Your freedom goal is the foundation of everything else you'll learn in this audiobook. It's the reason you'll pay yourself first, track your expenses, and build your savings. It's the fuel that will power your journey. Don't skip this step. Don't tell yourself you'll do it later. Do it now. Your future self will thank you. Chapter 2. Pay yourself first. The Golden Rule. Save before spending. There is one habit that separates wealthy people from everyone else. It is not complicated, it is not secret, but it is powerful beyond measure. Wealthy people pay themselves first. What does that mean? It means that when money comes in, the very first thing they do is save a portion of it. Before rent, before groceries, before anything else, they pay themselves. Most people do the opposite. They pay everyone else first. The landlord gets paid. The credit card company gets paid. The grocery store gets paid. The streaming services get paid. And if there is anything left over at the end of the month, maybe they save it. But there is never anything left over, is there? This is not because you do not make enough money. It is because of a principle called Parkinson's Law. Expenses expand to meet income. No matter how much you make, if you pay everyone else first, you will spend it all. The solution is simple, but requires discipline. You must pay yourself first. When your paycheck hits your account, immediately transfer your savings percentage to a separate account. Not tomorrow, not when you see what's left over, immediately. Treat your savings like your most important bill, because it is. You are not paying your landlord or your credit card company. You are paying your future self. You are paying for your freedom. Here's what's magical about this approach. You will adjust. If you save 10% of your income before you do anything else, you will learn to live on the remaining 90%. Your brain will figure it out. You will find ways to make it work. But if you try to save what is left over, there will never be anything left over. Your brain will find ways to spend it all. This is not about willpower. This is about systems. Willpower is exhausting and unreliable. Systems are automatic and powerful. Set up an automatic transfer from your checking account to your savings account on the day you get paid. Make it automatic so you don't have to think about it. Make it immediate so you don't have time to spend it. Pay yourself first and watch your wealth grow. Building discipline. Why this habit transforms your finances. Paying yourself first does something more important than just building your savings account. It builds your discipline muscle. Discipline is like a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And the stronger it gets, the easier everything else becomes. When you commit to paying yourself first, you're making a promise to yourself. And every time you keep that promise, you build trust with yourself. You prove that you are the kind of person who does what they say they will do. This might not sound like a big deal, but it's everything. Most people don't trust themselves. They make promises to themselves and break them constantly. They say they will start saving next month, and they don't. They say they will stop spending on unnecessary things, and they don't. Every broken promise erodes self-trust. And without self-trust, you can't build anything meaningful. But when you pay yourself first, month after month, you build an identity. You become someone who keeps their word. You become someone who prioritizes their future. You become someone who is in control of their money, not controlled by it. This discipline spills over into every area of your life. People who master their finances tend to master their health, their relationships, their careers. Why? Because they've built the discipline muscle. Discipline is not about being perfect. It's about being consistent. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it, even when it's hard, even when no one is watching. The beautiful thing about paying yourself first is that it makes discipline easy. You're not relying on willpower every single day. You set it up once, automate it, and then your discipline runs on autopilot. But you still get the benefits. You still build the muscle. You still become the kind of person who does hard things. And here's the truth. Financial freedom is not complicated, but it is hard. It requires you to delay gratification. It requires you to make choices that your friends might not understand. It requires you to stay focused on a distant goal when there are immediate pleasures all around you. Discipline is what makes that possible. And paying yourself first is how you build that discipline. Action step. Commit to saving at least 10% of income. Here's your challenge. Commit right now to saving at least 10% of every dollar you earn. Not 5%, not whatever's left over, 10% minimum. If you make $2,000 a month, you save $200. If you make $5,000 a month, you save $500. I know what you might be thinking. I can't afford to save 10%. My expenses are too high. I'm barely making it as it is. I hear you. But here's the truth. You can't afford not to save 10%. If you're barely making it now, what happens when an emergency strikes? What happens when your car breaks down, or you lose your job, or you have a medical expense? You go into debt, and debt makes everything harder. Saving 10% is not optional if you want financial freedom. It's the minimum price of admission. Now, if you truly can't save 10% right now, start with 5% or even 1%. The specific number matters less than the habit. But commit to increasing it. Every time you get a raise, increase your savings percentage. Every time you pay off a debt, redirect that payment to savings. Your goal is to get to 10% as quickly as possible and then to keep going. Some financial experts recommend saving 15 or even 20%. The more you save, the faster you build wealth. But start where you are. If 10% feels impossible, start with 5. If 5 feels impossible, start with 1. But start. Set up that automatic transfer today. Not tomorrow, today. Go to your bank's website or app right now and set it up. Make it automatic, make it immediate, make it non-negotiable. This is the single most important financial decision you will ever make. Everything else in this audiobook builds on this foundation. Pay yourself first, commit to 10%, start today. Your future self is counting on you.
Chapter 3. The Power of Small Steps. Daily discipline. Success is built on consistent actions. There is a myth about success that holds most people back. It is the myth of the big break, the lottery win, the overnight success. We love these stories. We love hearing about the person who invested in the right stock and became a millionaire, or the entrepreneur who sold their company for billions, or the person who won the lottery and never had to work again. These stories are exciting, but they're also dangerous. They make us think that wealth comes from one big moment, one lucky break, one perfect decision. The truth is far less exciting, but far more powerful. Wealth comes from small, consistent actions repeated over time. Think about your health. You do not get fit by working out once. You get fit by working out consistently, week after week, month after month. One workout does almost nothing, but one workout repeated 3 times a week for a year transforms your body. Wealth works the same way. Saving $50 once does almost nothing, but saving $50 every week for 10 years creates $26,000 plus interest. The power is not in the size of the action. The power is in the consistency. This is actually good news. It means you don't need a high income to build wealth. You don't need to get lucky. You don't need to make perfect investment decisions. You just need to do small things consistently. Save a little every paycheck. Track your expenses every week. Review your goals every month. These actions are not dramatic. They will not make you feel like you're making progress, but they are building something powerful beneath the surface. Think of it like planting a tree. When you plant a seed, nothing seems to happen for a long time. You water it, you wait, and it looks like nothing is changing. But beneath the soil, roots are growing. The foundation is being built. Then one day a sprout appears, and once it does, the growth becomes visible. The tree grows taller, stronger, more impressive. But none of that would be possible without the invisible work that happened first. Your savings are the same. In the beginning, it feels like nothing is happening. You save $50 and your life looks exactly the same. You save for 3 months and you still can't afford the things you want. But you are building roots. You are creating a foundation. And one day, you'll look at your account and realize something has shifted. You have options you didn't have before. You have security you didn't have before. You have freedom you didn't have before. That freedom came from daily discipline. It came from doing small things when they didn't seem to matter. Success is not about making one perfect decision. It's about making good decisions consistently. It's about showing up every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you can't see the results yet. Daily discipline is the secret. It's not glamorous, but it works. Compound effect. How small savings grow into big results. There is a force in the universe so powerful that Albert Einstein allegedly called it the 8th wonder of the world. It's called compound interest, and it's the reason small savings become big wealth. Here's how it works. When you save money and earn interest on it, that interest gets added to your principal. Then you earn interest on your principal plus your interest. Over time, your money starts growing exponentially. Let me give you an example. Let's say you save $100 a month starting at age 25. You put it in an account that earns 7% interest per year. By the time you're 65, you'll have saved $48,000 of your own money. But your account won't have $48,000 in it. It'll have $262,000. Where did the extra $214,000 come from? Compound interest. Your money made money, and then that money made money, and it kept growing faster and faster year after year. Now, here's the really powerful part. If you start at 25 and save $100 a month, you'll have $262,000 at 65. But if you wait until 35 to start, you'll only have $122,000. You waited 10 years, and it cost you $140,000. Time is your most valuable asset when it comes to building wealth. The earlier you start, the more powerful compound interest becomes. But here's the good news. It's never too late to start. Even if you're 40, 50, or 60, compound interest still works. It just works better the earlier you start. This is why small steps matter so much. You might think saving $50 a week is not worth it, but $50 a week is $200 a month. $200 a month over 30 years with compound interest is over $240,000. That's life-changing money. And it came from a decision that probably felt insignificant at the time. The compound effect doesn't just apply to money. It applies to everything. Small improvements in your health compound into a strong body. Small improvements in your skills compound into expertise. Small improvements in your relationships compound into deep connections. Everything you do either compounds in your favor or against you. Spending a little more than you earn compounds into debt. Saving a little less than you earn compounds into wealth. The choice is yours, but understand this: you are already experiencing the compound effect. The question is whether it's working for you or against you. Make it work for you. Start small, stay consistent, let time and compound interest do the heavy lifting. Action step: track one daily saving habit. Here's your action step for this chapter. Choose one small daily habit that will save you money and track it for the next 30 days. It could be making coffee at home instead of buying it. It could be bringing lunch to work instead of eating out. It could be walking instead of taking a ride share. It could be turning off lights when you leave a room to save on electricity. The specific habit doesn't matter as much as the consistency. Choose something small, something you can do every single day, and commit to it for 30 days. Then track it. Put a check mark on a calendar every day you do it. Keep a note on your phone. Create a simple spreadsheet. However you do it, track it. Why? Because tracking creates awareness, and awareness creates change. When you track your habit, you'll start to notice patterns. You'll see how much money you're actually saving. You'll feel the satisfaction of keeping your streak alive. You'll build momentum. And here's what will happen. After 30 days, that habit will feel automatic. It won't require willpower anymore. It'll just be what you do. And once that happens, you can add another habit, and then another. And over time, these small habits will transform your financial life. Remember, you're not trying to be perfect. You're trying to be consistent. If you miss a day, don't beat yourself up. Just start again the next day. The goal is progress, not perfection. Choose your habit right now, decide how you'll track it, and start today. Small steps, repeated consistently, create extraordinary results. This is your first small step.
Chapter 4. Mastering your expenses. Needs versus wants. Learning to control spending. One of the most important skills you can develop is the ability to distinguish between needs and wants. A need is something you must have to survive and function. Food, shelter, basic clothing, transportation to work, essential health care. These are needs. A want is everything else. The latest smartphone, designer clothes, eating at restaurants, premium streaming services, a bigger house, a nicer car. These are wants. Now, there is nothing wrong with wants. Life is meant to be enjoyed. But here is the problem. Most people treat their wants like needs. They convince themselves they need things they actually just want. I need a new phone. No, you want a new phone. Your current phone works fine. I need to eat out today. No, you want to eat out. You have food at home. I need this vacation. No, you want this vacation. You will survive without it. This might sound harsh, but it is liberating. When you're honest about what is a need and what is a want, you take back control of your spending. Here's a simple test. If you can live without it, it's a want. That doesn't mean you shouldn't have it. It just means you should be intentional about it. The problem is that our culture has blurred the line between needs and wants. Advertising is designed to make you feel like you need things you don't need. Social media makes you feel like everyone else has things you should have too. And easy credit makes it possible to buy things you can't afford. The result? Most people spend money on wants while neglecting their actual needs. They buy new clothes while having no emergency fund.
They lease expensive cars while having no retirement savings. They take vacations they can't afford while being one paycheck away from disaster. This is backwards. Your needs should always come first. And your most important need is financial security. Before you spend money on wants, ask yourself, have I paid myself first? Do I have an emergency fund? Am I on track for retirement? Am I debt-free? If the answer to any of those questions is no, then you can't afford your wants yet. You need to focus on your needs first. This doesn't mean living like a monk. It means being intentional. It means choosing your wants carefully instead of buying everything that catches your eye. Here's a powerful exercise. For the next week, every time you're about to buy something, pause and ask yourself, is this a need or a want? If it's a want, ask, do I want this more than I want financial freedom? Sometimes the answer will be yes, and that's okay, but often the answer will be no. And in that moment, you'll make a choice that serves your future instead of just your present. Mastering the difference between needs and wants is one of the fastest ways to take control of your finances. Smart budgeting, creating a plan that works without deprivation. The word budget makes most people cringe. It sounds restrictive, boring, and depressing. It sounds like a diet for your wallet. But a budget is not about restriction. It's about intention. It's about telling your money where to go instead of wondering where it went. Think of a budget like a road map. If you're taking a road trip, you don't just start driving and hope you end up somewhere good. You decide where you want to go, you plan your route, and you follow it. Your budget is your financial roadmap. It tells you how to get from where you are to where you want to be. Now here's the key. A good budget is not about deprivation. It's about priorities. You can't afford everything, so you have to choose what matters most. Let me give you a simple budgeting framework that actually works. It's called the 50-30-20 rule. 50% of your income goes to needs. These are your essentials: housing, food, transportation, utilities, insurance, minimum debt payments. 30% goes to wants. These are the things that make life enjoyable: entertainment, hobbies, dining out, travel, shopping. 20% goes to savings and debt repayment beyond minimums. This is your path to freedom. Now, these percentages are guidelines, not rules. If you're in debt or behind on savings, you might need to flip it. 50% to needs, 20% to wants, 30% to savings and debt repayment. The specific numbers matter less than the principle. You need a plan. You need to know where your money is going before you spend it. Here's how to create your budget. First, calculate your monthly income after taxes. Second, list all your expenses. Be honest and thorough. Include everything, even the small stuff. Third, categorize your expenses into needs, wants, and savings. Fourth, add up each category and see how it compares to the 50-30-20 guideline. If you're spending more than 50% on needs, look for ways to reduce them. Can you get a roommate to lower housing costs? Can you meal prep to reduce food costs? Can you refinance to lower your insurance? If you're spending more than 30% on wants, that's where you have the most control. This is where you can make immediate changes that will free up money for savings. The goal is not to eliminate wants. The goal is to be intentional about them. Choose the wants that bring you the most joy and cut the ones that don't. Maybe you love going to concerts, but you don't really care about having the latest clothes. Great. Budget for concerts and cut back on shopping. Maybe you love cooking fancy meals at home, but you don't care about going to bars. Perfect. Budget for groceries and cut back on nightlife. Your budget should reflect your values. It should fund the life you actually want, not the life you think you're supposed to want. And here's the secret. When your budget aligns with your values, it doesn't feel like deprivation. It feels like freedom.
You're not giving up things you love, you're choosing things you love over things you don't care about. A budget is not a cage. It's a tool that helps you build the life you want. Action step. Record 1 week of expenses and cut one unnecessary item. Here's your action step. For the next 7 days, write down every single thing you spend money on. Every coffee, every snack, every app subscription, every impulse purchase, everything. Don't try to change your behavior yet. Just observe. Just track. At the end of the week, review your list. You'll probably be surprised. Most people have no idea where their money actually goes. They think they're being careful, but when they track it, they discover they're spending $50 a week on things they don't even remember buying. Once you have your list, look for patterns. Where is your money going? What are you spending on that you don't really value? Then, choose one thing to cut. Just one. It should be something you won't miss, something that doesn't bring you real joy or value. Maybe it's a subscription service you never use. Maybe it's buying lunch every day when you could bring it from home. Maybe it's impulse purchases at the checkout line. Cut that one thing for the next month. Take the money you would have spent on it and add it to your savings instead. This exercise does two things. First, it creates awareness. You can't change what you don't measure. Second, it builds momentum. Cutting one unnecessary expense feels good. It makes you want to find another one. Over time, these small cuts add up to big savings. And the best part? You won't miss the things you cut. You'll only notice the growing balance in your savings account. Track your expenses for 1 week, cut one unnecessary item, watch your savings grow.
Chapter 5. Growing Your Savings. Organized Planning, Turning Savings into Opportunities. Saving money is important, but it is not enough. You also need a plan for what to do with that money. Most people save without a clear purpose. They just accumulate money in a checking account and hope it grows. But money without a plan is just money. Money with a plan becomes opportunity. This is where organized planning comes in. You need to divide your savings into categories, each with a specific purpose. Think of your savings like a garden. You don't just throw seeds randomly and hope something grows. You create different sections. One section for vegetables, one for flowers, one for herbs. Each section has a purpose, and you tend to each one differently. Your savings should work the same way. You need different accounts for different goals. The first category is security. This is your emergency fund, your insurance against life's unexpected events. This money is not for investing or spending. It is for protection. The second category is growth. This is money you invest for the long term. Retirement accounts, index funds, real estate. This money is working for you, growing through compound interest and market returns. The third category is freedom. This is money for opportunities, starting a business, taking a sabbatical, making a career change, helping family. This money gives you options. When you organize your savings this way, several things happen. First, you get clarity. You know exactly what each dollar is for. Second, you stay motivated. You can see progress in each category. Third, you make better decisions. You're not tempted to spend your emergency fund on a vacation because you have a separate freedom fund for that. Most people keep all their money in one account, and it creates confusion. They don't know if they can afford something because they don't know what the money is for. Is this money for emergencies, for retirement, for fun? When you separate your savings into categories, these decisions become easy. You know exactly what you can and cannot afford. Here's how to implement this. Open 3 separate savings accounts. Label them clearly: security, growth, and freedom. Decide what percentage of your savings goes into each category. A good starting point is 50% to security until you have a full emergency fund, then shift that 50% to growth. Put 25% in growth from the start and 25% in freedom. Adjust these percentages based on your situation.
If you have no emergency fund, put everything into security first. If you're behind on retirement, put more into growth. If you're planning a big life change, put more into freedom. The specific percentages matter less than having a system. The system creates clarity, and clarity creates action. Organized planning turns saving from a vague hope into a concrete strategy. It turns money into opportunity. Emergency fund first, protecting yourself before investing. Before you invest a single dollar, before you think about stocks or real estate or retirement accounts, you need an emergency fund. An emergency fund is exactly what it sounds like: money set aside for emergencies. Not for vacations, not for shopping, not for opportunities, for emergencies. Why is this so important? Because life is unpredictable. Cars break down, people lose jobs, medical emergencies happen, roofs leak, appliances die. If you don't have an emergency fund, these events become crises. You panic, you go into debt, you derail all your financial progress. But if you have an emergency fund, these events are just inconveniences. You're annoyed, but you're not stressed. You pay for the repair, and you move on with your life. An emergency fund is not about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. It's about giving yourself a cushion so that when life happens, you can handle it without destroying your finances. How much should you have in your emergency fund? The standard idea is 3 to 6 months of expenses. If you spend $3,000 a month, you should have $9,000 to $18,000 in your emergency fund. I know that sounds like a lot. And if you're starting from zero, it is a lot. But you don't have to get there overnight. Start with a goal of $1,000. That's enough to cover most small emergencies. Once you hit $1,000, aim for a month of expenses, then 3 months, then 6 months. Build it gradually, but build it consistently. Every paycheck, put something into your emergency fund until you hit your goal. Where should you keep your emergency fund? In a high-yield savings account. Not in investments, not in retirement accounts, not under your mattress. In a savings account that's easy to access, but separate from your checking account. You want this money to be liquid, meaning you can access it quickly if you need it. But you also want it to be separate, so you're not tempted to spend it on non-emergencies. Here's the rule. Your emergency fund is only for true emergencies. A true emergency is something unexpected, necessary, and urgent. Your car breaking down is an emergency. Wanting a new car is not. A medical bill is an emergency. A vacation is not. If you're not sure whether something is an emergency, ask yourself, what happens if I don't spend this money right now? If the answer is nothing serious, it's not an emergency. Once you have a fully funded emergency fund, your financial stress will drop dramatically. You'll sleep better. You'll make better decisions. You'll feel secure in a way you haven't felt before. Don't skip this step. Don't tell yourself you'll invest first and build an emergency fund later. That's backwards. Security first, then growth. Build your emergency fund, protect yourself. Then you can focus on building wealth. Action step. Create 3 savings categories: security, growth, and freedom. Here's your action step. Today, create 3 separate savings categories. If your bank allows multiple savings accounts, open 3 accounts and label them security, growth, and freedom. If your bank doesn't allow multiple accounts, open accounts at an online bank. Many online banks offer free savings accounts with no minimum balance. Once you have your 3 accounts, decide how you'll fund them. Look at your current savings percentage. If you're saving 10% of your income, decide how to split that 10% among your 3 categories. If you have no emergency fund yet, put everything into security until you reach your goal. If you have some emergency savings but it's not complete, put 50% in security and split the rest between growth and freedom. If your emergency fund is fully funded, put 50% into growth and 50% in freedom, or adjust based on your priorities. Set up automatic transfers to each account on the day you get paid. Make it automatic so you don't have to think about it. Then watch your accounts grow. Check them regularly. Celebrate milestones. When your security account hits $1,000, acknowledge it. When your growth account hits $5,000, celebrate it. These categories will transform how you think about money. You'll stop seeing your savings as one big pile and start seeing it as a strategic system. Security gives you peace. Growth gives you a future. Freedom gives you options. Create your 3 categories today. Fund them consistently. Watch your financial life transform.
Chapter 6. Escaping the Debt Trap. The Cost of Borrowing. Why Debt Delays Freedom. Debt is the opposite of savings. Savings is paying your future self. Debt is borrowing from your future self. When you save, compound interest works for you. Your money grows exponentially over time. When you borrow, compound interest works against you. Your debt grows exponentially over time. Let me show you how expensive debt really is. Let us say you have $5,000 in credit card debt at 18% interest. If you only make minimum payments, it will take you over 20 years to pay it off, and you will pay over $6,000 in interest. That means you will pay $11,000 total for $5,000 worth of stuff. You will more than double the cost of everything you bought. And here's the worst part. While you're paying off that debt, you cannot save. Every dollar going to debt payments is a dollar that is not going to your freedom fund. Every month you're in debt is a month you are not building wealth. Debt doesn't just cost you money. It costs you time, opportunity, and freedom. Think about what you could do with that money if you weren't making debt payments. You could save it. You could invest it. You could use it to start a business or change careers or take time off to care for family. But you can't do any of that because you're trapped making payments on things you bought years ago. This is why debt is so dangerous. It doesn't feel dangerous when you're swiping the card. It feels convenient. It feels like you're getting what you want right now without having to wait. But you're not getting it for free. You're borrowing from your future self, and your future self will pay dearly for it. Now, not all debt is created equal. There's good debt and bad debt. Good debt is debt that increases your earning power or builds wealth. A student loan that leads to a higher paying career can be good debt. A mortgage on a house that appreciates in value can be good debt. A business loan that helps you start a profitable business can be good debt. Bad debt is debt for consumption. Credit cards for clothes, electronics, vacations, restaurants, car loans for vehicles you can't afford. Any debt for things that lose value or get used up. If you're going to borrow, borrow for assets, not for consumption. Borrow for things that will make you money, not cost you money. But here's the best advice. Avoid debt altogether if you can. Save up and pay cash. It takes longer, but it's so much cheaper. If you're in debt right now, don't panic. You can get out. It will take discipline and sacrifice, but it's possible. And once you're out, you'll never want to go back. Debt is a trap, but you can escape it. And once you do, you'll experience a level of freedom you haven't felt in years. Living within your means. Building confidence through control. Living within your means is a simple concept. Spend less than you earn. But for most people, it's incredibly difficult to practice. Why? Because we live in a culture that encourages the opposite. Advertising tells you to buy now and pay later. Social media shows you everyone else's highlight reel, making you feel like you need to keep up. Easy credit makes it possible to live beyond your means for years before reality catches up. But here's the truth. You can't borrow your way to wealth. You can't spend your way to freedom. The only path to financial independence is to consistently spend less than you earn and save the difference. Living within your means doesn't mean living a small life. It means living a life you can actually afford. It means making choices based on your reality, not your wishes. Here's what living within your means looks like in practice. You don't buy a house you can't afford just because the bank approved you for the loan.
You don't lease a car that eats up 20% of your income just because you want to look successful. You don't go on vacations you have to put on a credit card. Instead, you buy a house you can comfortably afford. You drive a reliable car you can pay cash for. You take vacations you have saved for. This might sound boring. It might sound like you're missing out. But here's what you're actually doing. You're building confidence. Every time you make a choice to live within your means, you prove to yourself that you're in control. You prove that you don't need external validation. You prove that you can delay gratification for something better. And that confidence spills over into every area of your life. When you're in control of your money, you feel in control of your life. When you're not controlled by debt, you're not controlled by fear. Living within your means also gives you options. When you're not stretched thin financially, you can take risks. You can change jobs. You can start a business. You can help others. But when you're living beyond your means, you're trapped. You can't afford to take risks because you need every paycheck just to keep up with your payments. You can't help others because you can barely help yourself. Here's how to start living within your means. First, know your means. Calculate your monthly income after taxes. That's your means. Everything you spend must fit within that number. Second, track your spending. You can't live within your means if you don't know what you're spending. Third, make adjustments. If you're spending more than you earn, you have two choices: earn more or spend less. Earning more is great, but it takes time. Spending less is within your control right now. Cut expenses until your spending is below your income. Then save the difference. Living within your means is not about deprivation. It's about alignment. It's about making your spending match your income and your values. When you live within your means, you build confidence, control, and freedom, and that's worth more than any purchase you could make. Action step: write a debt reduction plan with clear milestones. If you have debt, here is your action step. Write a debt reduction plan with clear milestones. First, list all your debts. Include the creditor, the total amount owed, the interest rate, and the minimum payment. Be thorough. Include credit cards, car loans, student loans, personal loans, everything. Second, choose a debt payoff strategy. There are two popular methods: the debt snowball and the debt avalanche. The debt snowball method says to pay off your smallest debt first, regardless of interest rate. Once that's paid off, take the payment you are making on it and add it to the payment on your next smallest debt. This method gives you quick wins and builds momentum. The debt avalanche method says to pay off your highest interest debt first. This method saves you the most money in interest over time. Both methods work. Choose the one that motivates you more. If you need quick wins to stay motivated, use the snowball. If you're motivated by saving money, use the avalanche. Set clear milestones. When will you pay off your first debt? Your second? When will you be completely debt-free? Be realistic but ambitious. Look at your budget and see how much extra you can put toward debt each month. Then calculate how long it will take to pay off each debt. Write it down. Create a simple document or spreadsheet that shows your debts, your strategy, and your milestones. Put it somewhere you'll see it regularly. And fifth, celebrate milestones. When you pay off a debt, celebrate. You've earned it. Acknowledge your progress. This will keep you motivated for the next milestone. Getting out of debt is not easy. It requires sacrifice. You'll have to say no to things you want. You'll have to make choices your friends might not understand. You'll have to stay focused when it feels like progress is slow. But it's worth it. The day you make your final debt payment will be one of the best days of your financial life. You'll feel lighter, freer, more in control than you have in years. Write your debt reduction plan today. Set your milestones. Commit to the process. Your debt-free life is waiting for you.
Chapter 7: Discipline and Daily Habits. Rituals of Success, Morning and Evening Practices that Reinforce Saving. Your daily habits determine your destiny.
What you do every day matters more than what you do once in a while. If you want to build wealth, you need daily rituals that reinforce your commitment to saving. These rituals do not have to be complicated or time-consuming, they just have to be consistent. Let me share some powerful morning and evening rituals that will keep you focused on your financial goals. Morning ritual. Start your day by reviewing your freedom goal. Remember that vision you wrote down in Chapter 1? Read it every morning. Spend 60 seconds visualizing your financially free future. See it, feel it, believe it. This simple practice programs your mind for success. It reminds you why you are making sacrifices. It keeps your goal front and center so you make better decisions throughout the day. Next, review your spending from the previous day. This takes 2 minutes. Just look at your bank account or your tracking app and see what you spent yesterday. Were those purchases aligned with your values? Did you stay within your budget? This is not about judgment. It is about awareness. When you review your spending daily, you catch problems early. You notice patterns. You stay accountable. Evening ritual. Before bed, ask yourself 3 questions. First, did I make progress toward my financial goals today? This could be as simple as packing lunch instead of buying it, or as significant as making an extra debt payment. Second, what is one thing I can do tomorrow to move closer to financial freedom? Maybe it's calling to negotiate a bill, or researching a side hustle, or meal planning for the week. Third, what am I grateful for financially? Maybe you're grateful you have a job, or that you made it through the day without impulse purchases, or that your emergency fund is growing. Gratitude is powerful. It shifts your focus from what you don't have to what you do have. It makes saving feel like abundance instead of scarcity. These rituals take less than 5 minutes total, but they will transform your financial life. They keep you focused, aware, and motivated. The key is consistency. Do these rituals every day, even when you don't feel like it, even when you think you don't need them, especially then. Success is not about what you do occasionally. It's about what you do consistently. These daily rituals create consistency. Auto-suggestion. Training your mind to stay focused on freedom. Your subconscious mind is incredibly powerful. It controls most of your behavior, including your financial behavior. If you want to change your financial results, you need to reprogram your subconscious mind. This is where auto-suggestion comes in. Auto-suggestion is the practice of repeatedly feeding your mind specific thoughts until they become beliefs. Here's how it works. Your conscious mind thinks thoughts. Your subconscious mind believes whatever your conscious mind repeats often enough. And your subconscious mind then drives your behavior to match those beliefs. If you repeatedly think, "I'm bad with money," your subconscious believes it and you will act in ways that prove it true. But if you repeatedly think, "I am building wealth through consistent saving," your subconscious believes that instead, and you will act accordingly. Auto-suggestion is how you reprogram your financial beliefs. And the most powerful form of auto-suggestion is affirmations. An affirmation is a positive statement about yourself stated in the present tense as if it's already true. Here are some powerful financial affirmations. I am financially disciplined and in control of my money. I save money easily and consistently. I am building wealth and creating financial freedom. I make smart financial decisions that serve my future. Money flows to me, and I manage it wisely. Choose 1 or 2 affirmations that resonate with you. Write them down. Then repeat them out loud every morning and every evening. Say them with conviction, with emotion, with belief. At first, this will feel silly. Your logical mind will say, "This is not true. I am not wealthy. I am not disciplined." That's okay. Keep doing it anyway. Over time, something shifts. The affirmations start to feel more true. Your behavior starts to align with them. You start making decisions that match your affirmations instead of your old beliefs. This is not magic. This is psychology. You are literally rewiring your brain. For autosuggestion to work, you need 3 things: repetition, emotion, and belief. Repeat your affirmations daily. Say them with emotion, not like a robot. And cultivate belief even if you have to fake it at first. You can also use visualization as a form of auto-suggestion. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing your financially free life. See yourself checking your bank account and seeing abundant savings. See yourself making decisions without worrying about money. See yourself living the life you want. The more vividly you visualize, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. And the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind, the more your behavior aligns with it. Your mind is your most powerful tool for building wealth. Train it well. Action step. Create one daily affirmation about financial independence. Here's your action step. Create one powerful affirmation about financial independence. Make it personal, make it specific, make it present tense, make it positive. Not, I will be wealthy someday. That's future tense and vague. Instead, I am building wealth through consistent, disciplined saving. Not, I am not in debt. That's negative. Instead, I am financially free and in control of my money. Write your affirmation down. Put it on your phone. Put it on your bathroom mirror. Put it on a card in your wallet. Then, commit to saying it out loud twice a day for the next 30 days. Once in the morning, once in the evening. Say it with conviction. Say it like you mean it. Say it until you believe it. This might feel uncomfortable at first. That's normal. Do it anyway. After 30 days, your affirmation will start to feel natural. It will start to feel true, and your behavior will start to match it. This is one of the simplest but most powerful practices you can adopt. It costs nothing, it takes less than a minute, but it can transform your financial life. Create your affirmation today, say it twice a day, watch what happens.
Chapter 8. Multiple Streams of Savings. Diversification. Do not rely on one source of income or savings. There is an old saying, do not put all your eggs in one basket. This is especially true when it comes to your finances. If you rely on one source of income, you are vulnerable. If you lose that job, you lose everything. If you rely on one type of savings, you are vulnerable. If that account fails or loses value, you lose everything. The solution is diversification. Multiple streams of income, multiple types of savings, multiple paths to financial security. Let's start with income. Most people have one source of income, their job. This is risky. Jobs can be lost. Companies can downsize. Industries can change. The wealthy do not rely on one income source. They have multiple streams. Maybe they have a job, plus rental income, plus investment income, plus a side business. You don't need to be wealthy to start building multiple income streams. You just need to be intentional. Can you start a side hustle? Can you freelance in your spare time? Can you create a digital product? Can you invest in dividend-paying stocks? Can you rent out a room in your house? Each additional income stream makes you more secure. If you lose your job, but you have 3 other income sources, you'll be okay. You'll have time to find the right next opportunity instead of taking the first thing that comes along. The same principle applies to savings. Do not keep all your money in one place. Diversify across different types of accounts and investments. Have a high-yield savings account for your emergency fund. Have a retirement account like a 401k or IRA for long-term growth. Have a brokerage account for additional investments. Have a separate account for short-term goals. Diversification protects you. If one investment performs poorly, the others balance it out. If one account has problems, you have others to fall back on. Diversification also creates opportunities. When you have money in different places, you can take advantage of different opportunities. You can invest when the market is down. You can buy real estate when prices are low. You can start a business when the timing is right. But if all your money is tied up in one place, you can't act on opportunities. You're stuck. Start building multiple streams today. Start small. Add one new income source this year. Open one new type of savings account this month. Over time, these multiple streams will create a river of wealth that cannot be stopped. Buckets of wealth: retirement, education, freedom fund. Let's talk about the specific buckets you should be filling with your savings. Think of these as different containers, each with a specific purpose. Bucket 1, retirement. This is money you won't touch for decades. It's invested for long-term growth. It's protected by tax-advantaged accounts, like 401ks and IRAs. You should be contributing to retirement from your very first paycheck. Even if it's just a small percentage, start now. Time is your greatest asset when it comes to retirement savings. If your employer offers a 401k match, contribute at least enough to get the full match. That's free money. If you don't take it, you're leaving money on the table. If you don't have access to a 401k, open an IRA. You can contribute up to a certain amount each year, and it grows tax-free or tax-deferred depending on the type of IRA. Retirement might feel far away, but it will come faster than you think. And when it does, you'll be grateful you started early. Bucket 2, education. If you have children or plan to, you need an education fund. College is expensive, and it's getting more expensive every year. You don't have to pay for all of it, but you should contribute something. Open a 529 plan, which is a tax-advantaged account specifically for education expenses. Even if you can only contribute $50 a month, that will grow significantly over 18 years, and it will give your children options they wouldn't have otherwise. If you don't have children, you might use this bucket for your own education. Maybe you want to go back to school, get a certification, or learn a new skill. Having a dedicated education fund makes that possible. Bucket 3, freedom fund. This is my favorite bucket. This is money for opportunities, for dreams, for life changes. Maybe you want to start a business. Maybe you want to take a year off to travel. Maybe you want to make a career change that requires a pay cut initially. Maybe you want to help a family member in need. Your freedom fund makes all of this possible. It's not for emergencies. It's not for retirement. It's for living the life you want. How much should you have in your freedom fund? That depends on your goals, but a good target is 1 year of expenses. With 1 year of expenses saved, you have incredible freedom. You can make bold moves without fear. These 3 buckets work together. Retirement gives you long-term security. Education gives you and your family opportunities. Freedom gives you options now. Fund all 3 consistently. Don't neglect one for the others. They are all important. Action step. Open or label 3 separate savings accounts for your 3 buckets. If you don't have a retirement account yet, open one today. If your employer offers a 401k, sign up. If not, open an IRA. You can do this online in less than 30 minutes. If you have children or plan to, open a 529 education savings plan. Research the options in your state, as some offer tax benefits. Then, open a separate savings account for your freedom fund. Label it clearly. This is not your emergency fund. This is your opportunity fund. Once you have your 3 accounts, set up automatic contributions to each. Decide what percentage of your savings goes to each bucket. A good starting point is 10% of your income to retirement, 5% to education if applicable, and 5% to your freedom fund. Adjust based on your situation and goals. The key is to fund all 3 consistently. Even if the amounts are small at first, the habit is what matters. These 3 buckets will give you security, opportunity, and freedom. They will transform your financial life. Open your accounts today, set up your automatic contributions, start filling your buckets.
Chapter 9. Freedom Through Saving. Choices and Peace. How saving gives control over life decisions.
Let me start by saying this. Money is not the goal. Freedom is the goal. And saving is how you buy that freedom. When you have savings, you have choices. You can choose where you work, where you live, how you spend your time. You can say yes to opportunities and no to things that do not serve you. When you do not have savings, you do not have choices. You take the job that pays the bills, even if you hate it. You stay in situations that make you unhappy because you cannot afford to leave. You say yes to things you do not want because you need the money. This is not freedom. This is survival. Saving gives you the power to move from survival to freedom. It gives you control over your life decisions. Let me give you some examples. Imagine you were in a job that is making you miserable. Your boss is toxic, the work is unfulfilling, you dread Monday mornings. If you have no savings, you're stuck. You need that paycheck. You can't afford to quit. So you stay and you suffer. But if you have 6 months of expenses saved, you have options. You can quit and take time to find something better. You can negotiate for better conditions because you're not desperate. You can even take a lower-paying job that makes you happier because you have a cushion. Or imagine a family member gets sick and needs help. If you have no savings, you can't help. You're barely taking care of yourself. But if you have a freedom fund, you can help. You can take time off work to care for them. You can contribute financially. You can be there when it matters. Or imagine an incredible opportunity comes along, a chance to start a business, to invest in real estate, to take a course that could change your career. If you have no savings, you have to pass. You can't afford the risk or the investment. But if you have savings, you can say yes. You can take the opportunity. You can change your life. This is what saving gives you. Not just money, but choices. And choices give you peace. When you have savings, you stop worrying about money. You stop lying awake at night wondering how you'll pay the bills. You stop feeling anxious every time an unexpected expense comes up. You feel secure. You feel in control. You feel peaceful. And that peace is priceless. It affects your health, your relationships, your happiness. It affects everything. Saving is not about accumulating money for the sake of money. It's about buying peace and freedom. It's about creating a life where you make decisions based on what is right for you, not based on what you can afford. That is the ultimate goal. That is what we're working toward. Let me share some stories of ordinary people who achieved financial independence through saving. Sarah was a teacher making $40,000 a year. She had student loans, credit card debt, and no savings. She felt trapped and hopeless. Then she decided to change. She started paying herself first, saving 10% of every paycheck. She created a budget and cut unnecessary expenses. She worked a summer tutoring job and put every dollar toward debt. It took her 4 years, but she paid off all her debt. Then she kept saving. She built a 6-month emergency fund. She maxed out her retirement contributions. She started a freedom fund. 10 years after she started, Sarah had over $100,000 saved. She bought a small house with cash, she had complete financial security, and she did it all on a teacher's salary. Then there's Marcus. He worked in construction making $50,000 a year. He had a wife and 2 kids. Money was always tight. But Marcus was disciplined. He and his wife lived below their means. They drove old cars. They cooked at home. They said no to things their friends were buying. They saved 15% of their income every single month for 20 years. They invested in low-cost index funds. They never touched the money. When Marcus was 50, he had over $400,000 saved. He could retire early if he wanted. He could help his kids with college. He had options he never dreamed possible. And then there's Jennifer. She was a single mom working 2 jobs, making $35,000 a year. She had no family support and no safety net. But she was determined to give her daughter a better life.
She saved 5% of her income, even when it felt impossible. She worked extra shifts and saved every extra dollar. She learned about investing and put her savings to work. 15 years later, Jennifer had $60,000 saved. She was able to quit her second job. She helped her daughter go to college debt-free. She broke the cycle of poverty in her family. These are real stories. These are ordinary people with ordinary incomes who achieved extraordinary results through consistent, disciplined saving. You can do this too. It doesn't matter how much you make. It doesn't matter where you're starting from. What matters is that you start and that you stay consistent. Your transformation story is waiting to be written. Start writing it today. Here's your action step. Spend 5 minutes every day visualizing your debt-free, financially independent lifestyle. Find a quiet place. Close your eyes. Take a few deep breaths. Now, imagine your life 5 years from now. You are completely debt-free. You have a fully funded emergency fund. You have money growing in retirement accounts. You have a freedom fund that gives you options. What does your life look like? How do you feel when you wake up in the morning? What choices are available to you that are not available now? Maybe you see yourself in a job you love because you don't have to take a job just for money. Maybe you see yourself helping family members because you have the resources. Maybe you see yourself taking a sabbatical to pursue a passion project. Whatever your vision is, see it clearly. Feel the emotions. Feel the peace, the freedom, the security. Spend 5 minutes in this visualization every day. Make it as real as possible in your mind. This practice does 2 things. First, it keeps you motivated. When saving feels hard, your visualization reminds you why you're doing it. Second, it programs your subconscious mind. Your brain starts finding ways to make your vision real. You start noticing opportunities. You start making better decisions. You start becoming the person who lives that life. Visualization is not wishful thinking. It's a powerful tool used by successful people in every field. Commit to 5 minutes of visualization every day. See your financial free future. Feel it. Believe it. Then, take the actions that make it real.
Chapter 10. Living the Saving Lifestyle. Identity Shift. Becoming the kind of person who saves naturally. Everything we have talked about in this audiobook comes down to one thing: identity. You do not just want to save money, you want to become the kind of person who saves naturally, effortlessly, automatically. There's a big difference between doing something and being someone. Doing is temporary. Being is permanent. You can force yourself to save for a few months through willpower, but eventually willpower runs out. You get tired. You slip back into old habits. But if you change your identity, if you become a saver, then saving is not something you do, it's who you are. And who you are doesn't require willpower. It's just natural. So how do you change your identity? Through consistent action and self-talk. Every time you save money, you are casting a vote for the identity of someone who saves. Every time you choose not to make an impulse purchase, you are casting a vote for the identity of someone who is disciplined with money. Do this enough times and your identity shifts. You start to see yourself differently. You start to think of yourself as someone who is good with money, someone who saves, someone who is building wealth. And once your identity shifts, your behavior follows automatically. This is why the action steps in this audiobook are so important. They're not just about saving money, they're about becoming the kind of person who saves. Pay attention to your self-talk. Stop saying, "I'm bad with money," or "I can never save." Start saying, "I'm learning to manage money well," or "I'm becoming a consistent saver." Your words shape your identity. Choose them carefully. Also, surround yourself with people who support your new identity. If your friends are constantly pressuring you to spend,
it will be hard to maintain your identity as a saver. Find people who value financial responsibility. Join online communities of people working toward financial independence. Read books and listen to podcasts about personal finance. Your environment shapes your identity. Create an environment that supports the person you are becoming. And be patient with yourself. Identity change doesn't happen overnight. It happens through consistent action over time. But it does happen. And when it does, everything becomes easier. You don't have to force yourself to save. You just do it because that's who you are. Success attracts success. Saving as part of personal growth. Here's something interesting. When you master saving, other areas of your life improve too. Financial discipline creates discipline in other areas. People who save consistently tend to exercise consistently, eat healthier, build better relationships, and advance in their careers. Why? Because discipline is a transferable skill. When you prove to yourself that you can control your spending, you believe you can control other things too. Success attracts success. Small wins create momentum. Momentum creates confidence. Confidence creates bigger wins. When you start saving, you feel empowered. You feel in control. And that feeling spills over into everything else. You start thinking, if I can save 10% of my income, I can also work out 3 times a week. Or if I can stick to a budget, I can also stick to a meal plan. Saving becomes part of your personal growth journey. It's not just about money. It's about becoming the best version of yourself. And here's the beautiful part. As you grow in other areas, your financial life improves even more. When you're healthier, you have more energy to work and earn. When you have better relationships, you have more support. When you advance in your career, you earn more. Everything is connected. Saving is not separate from the rest of your life. It's integrated with it. So don't think of saving as just a financial practice. Think of it as a personal development practice. Think of it as a way to become stronger, more disciplined, more capable in every area of your life. When you approach saving this way, it becomes exciting instead of boring. It becomes empowering instead of restrictive. You're not just building wealth, you're building yourself. Action step. Commit to one long-term saving ritual, weekly or monthly. Here's your final action step. Commit to one long-term saving ritual that you will practice weekly or monthly. This could be a weekly money date where you review your finances, track your progress, and plan for the week ahead. It could be a monthly savings challenge where you find one new way to save money. It could be a weekly review of your spending to see where you can improve. Choose one ritual that resonates with you. Make it specific. Put it on your calendar. Treat it as an important appointment that you can't miss. This ritual serves several purposes. First, it keeps you accountable. When you review your finances regularly, you catch problems early. You notice when you're overspending. You see when you're off track. Second, it keeps you motivated. When you see your progress, when you watch your savings grow month after month, you feel encouraged. You remember why you're doing this. Third, it reinforces your identity. Every time you practice your ritual, you are telling yourself, I'm the kind of person who takes their finances seriously. I'm the kind of person who builds wealth. Make your ritual enjoyable. Pour yourself a cup of coffee or tea. Put on music you like. Make it something you look forward to, not something you dread. And involve your family if appropriate. If you have a partner, make it a couple's ritual. Review your finances together. Celebrate wins together. Problem solve together. If you have kids, involve them in age-appropriate ways. Show them that managing money is important. Model the behavior you want them to learn. Your long-term ritual is what will keep you on track for years to come. It's what will turn saving from a temporary effort into a permanent lifestyle. Choose your ritual now. Put it on your calendar and commit to it for the next 12 months. This is how you build a saving lifestyle that lasts forever.
Conclusion: your path to freedom. Recap: saving leads to discipline, leads to growth, leads to independence. Let us recap the journey we have taken together. We started with mindset.
You learned that your thoughts about money shape your financial reality. You created a clear vision of your financially free future. You wrote down your freedom goal. Then we talked about the golden rule: pay yourself first. You committed to saving at least 10% of your income before spending on anything else. You learned that this one habit builds discipline and transforms your finances. We explored the power of small steps. You learned that wealth is not built through one big moment, but through consistent daily actions. You discovered the magic of compound interest and how small savings grow into big results. You mastered your expenses by learning to distinguish between needs and wants. You created a budget that reflects your values. You tracked your spending and cut unnecessary items. You organized your savings into 3 categories: security, growth, and freedom. You built an emergency fund to protect yourself. You started investing for long-term growth. You created a freedom fund for opportunities. You learned how to escape the debt trap. You understood the true cost of borrowing. You created a debt reduction plan with clear milestones. You committed to living within your means. You developed daily habits and rituals that reinforce saving. You created affirmations to reprogram your mind. You practiced visualization to keep your goals clear. You diversified your savings across multiple streams and buckets. You opened retirement accounts, education funds, and freedom funds. You protected yourself by not putting all your eggs in one basket. You discovered that saving gives you choices and peace. You learned that financial independence is not about money, it is about freedom. You visualized your debt-free, independent lifestyle. And finally, you shifted your identity. You became the kind of person who saves naturally. You integrated saving into your personal growth journey. You committed to long-term rituals that will keep you on track. This is the path. Saving leads to discipline. Discipline leads to growth. Growth leads to independence. You now have everything you need to walk this path. You have the knowledge. You have the tools. You have the action steps. The only question is, will you do it? Final motivation. Freedom begins with the next coin you save. Right now, in this moment, you're standing at a crossroads. One path leads to more of the same. More financial stress, more living paycheck to paycheck, more feeling trapped by money, more years of wishing things were different but not doing anything about it. The other path leads to freedom, to security, to peace, to choices, to a life where money serves you instead of controlling you. The difference between these two paths is not your income. It is not your background. It is not your education or your luck. The difference is one simple decision: to save. And that decision starts with the next dollar you earn, the next coin that comes into your possession. You can spend it like you have always done, or you can save it and start building something different. Freedom does not require $1 million. It does not require winning the lottery or getting a huge raise. Freedom begins with $1 saved, then another, then another. Every dollar you save is a brick in the foundation of your financial freedom. Every month you stay consistent makes that foundation stronger. You will face obstacles. There will be emergencies. There will be temptations. There will be people who don't understand what you're doing. But you will also experience victories. You will watch your savings grow. You will pay off debts. You will feel the peace that comes from having a cushion. You will experience the power of having choices. And one day, you will wake up and realize something has changed. You're not stressed about money anymore. You're not living paycheck to paycheck. You have options. You have freedom. That day is coming.
but it only comes if you start today. Not tomorrow, not next month, not when you get a raise or when things calm down or when the timing is perfect. Today, right now, with the next coin you save. Your financially free future is waiting for you. It's not a fantasy. It's not impossible. It is a natural result of consistent, disciplined saving. You can do this. You have everything you need. You just need to start. Call to action. Start today, no matter how small. Here is my final challenge to you. Before this day ends, take one concrete action toward your financial freedom. Transfer $10 to a savings account. Write down your freedom goal. Create your first affirmation. Set up an automatic savings transfer. Track your spending for today. Cut one unnecessary expense. Do something. Anything. Just start. Because here's the truth. Most people will listen to this audiobook and do nothing. They will agree with everything. They will feel motivated. They will have good intentions. But they won't act. And nothing will change. Don't be most people. Be the person who acts. Be the person who starts small but starts today. Be the person who builds wealth $1 at a time. Your future self is watching you right now. They're hoping you will make the right choice. They're counting on you to start building the life they will live. Don't let them down. Start today. Start small, but start. Save the next coin, then the next, then the next. Do it consistently. Do it with discipline. Do it with faith that it will compound into something beautiful. Because it will. Your journey to financial freedom begins now. Take the first step. Save, grow, become free. You've got this. I believe in you. Now go make it happen.
Thank you for investing your time in this audiobook. The fact that you listened all the way through tells me something important about you. You are serious about changing your financial life. Remember, knowledge without action is just entertainment. You now have the knowledge. The question is, will you take action? I encourage you to listen to this audiobook again. Each time you listen, you will catch something new. You will deepen your understanding. You will strengthen your commitment. But most importantly, do the action steps. They are not optional. They are the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. Your financially free life is possible. It is waiting for you. Go claim it. Save well, live free. If this audiobook has inspired you to take control of your financial future, I want to ask you to do 3 simple things that will help you stay on track and help others discover this message of freedom. First, subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe, you will be notified every time we release new content about saving, investing, building wealth, and achieving financial independence. Think of this channel as your ongoing support system on your journey to freedom. Hit that subscribe button right now. Second, give this video a thumbs up. Your like tells YouTube that this content is valuable, which means more people who need this message will discover it. You could be the reason someone else starts their journey to financial freedom today. That like button is right below this video. Go ahead and click it. Third, share this audiobook with someone who needs it. We all know someone who is struggling with money, living paycheck to paycheck, or feeling trapped by debt. Send them this link. Share it on your social media. Post it in your community groups. You could literally change someone's life by sharing this message. And here's a bonus 4th action. Leave a comment below telling me what your #1 takeaway was from this audiobook. What resonated with you most?
What action are you committing to take today? When you write it down publicly, you are more likely to follow through. Plus, your comment might inspire someone else who reads it. Remember, financial freedom is not just possible for other people. It is possible for you, but it requires action. Subscribing, liking, and sharing takes less than 30 seconds, but it keeps you connected to this community of people who are building wealth and creating freedom. So do it right now. Subscribe, like, share, comment. Your future self will thank you, and so will everyone else's life you change by spreading this message. Let us build financial freedom together. I'll see you in the next video. Now go save that next coin. Your freedom is waiting.